Hi, I'm R.J. Cooper, and I've been doing assistive tech at AAC since 1983. So I'm one of the oldies in the field, along with a guy named Chauncey. You might know him. Today I'm going to be talking about some iPad stuff that I've been doing. When the iPad came out in April of 2010, I knew it would be a huge hit. So I started making things for it right away. The first thing was, it wasn't loud enough. So I made a Bluetooth speaker that makes the iPad 2 to 3 times as loud as it normally would be. Very important when you're trying to use it as an augmentative communication device. The next thing I noticed was we needed a way to mount it on wheelchairs. This is one of my arms. I make 4 different positioning arms that put the iPad in a specific place, and when you have it where you want it, you lock it down and it stays there. Then came along switches. People wanted to access the iPad by more than just touching it directly. So I made my Super Switch, which has a switch interface built in, so we can plug other switches into it, but it also is a switch all by itself. This is an app called Sounding Board by AbleNet, and it will scan when I press my switch. Unfortunately, it does not make any sound while it's scanning, but we can see that it's scanning. And I'll choose Tell Me More about that. And it speaks the phrase that we've selected. So that shows that the switch can activate switch-friendly apps. Now that's important because the switch cannot operate the iPad itself. It can only operate apps that are switch-friendly, of which there are only about 10, 11 right now. I struggle to get app developers on this train, but they resist. I make a couple of apps that are switch-friendly, from cause and effect up through early communication, and fortunately all the app developers are either doing it or they have done it. Not all of them done yet though. Also, we're trying to have a standard in the communication protocol between the switch and the app, so that the consumer or the professional doesn't need to be aware of the old question of what is the switch interface doing and what is the app looking for. By making a standard, we're eliminating that question from the consumer's need to know.
Okay, how did it go for the second morning session?
It was wonderful.
Good.
I thought it was wonderful. Chauncey was in the audience. You'd ask him.
He's better than he says he is, even.
All right.
Which is quite a, you know.
So we have one switch auto scan, or we have 2 switch step scan, where one switch would be our mover and the second switch would be our picker. And these are the types of things I try to get across to the app developers, to incorporate both methods of scanning. So that takes care of switches and the iPad. There actually is something coming down the pike for switch scanning for even the menu system right here on the iPad. Should be out in about 3 or 4 months. I've seen it work, and it does work. It's called Tornado by Origin Systems. And I'm hoping that some of our learners and users will be able to use that to access the iPad. Because right now the iPad wants you to touch it directly or use a switch, but only with switch-friendly apps, of which, as I said, there's not that many. Another thing we can do that people aren't aware of as far as alternative input with an iPad is this USB connector normally cannot plug directly into an iPad. However, I will show you to the contrary. I'll take the USB connector here, and I'll plug it into the USB connector of the camera connection kit. That's a $29 set of dongles that come from Apple, and we can plug this into the dock like so. And even though the Apple doth protest, it says cannot use the device, it's lying. We can use it. As I will show you here with my Speller, one of my apps for the iPad. And I'm going to choose the external keyboard as my keyboard here.
D-O-G.
So sticking with the iPad, We've got the arm, the stance, and the carry cases.